Formula 1 returns to Mexico for the penultimate round of the 2017 season, round 18, and for the first time since 1997 there's been Williams and Ferrari drivers going for the Drivers' Championship. You can easily expect that no quarter will be given between the two teams. BMW Williams come to this race announcing that they've brought their final upgrade of the season, an all-new turbo upgrade, in hopes of powering Josh Chiro to his second Drivers' World Championship and getting Williams somewhere close to second in the Constructors. McLaren Honda also come to this race running minimum downforce, trying to maximise the pace down the straights to try and keep somewhere close to Renault and Toro Rosso come race day. With another engine failure for Jean-Eric Vergne in the previous race, many people are speculating now that Ferrari in fact sabotaging Vergne's car. Of course, both have denied this. Taking a look at the qualifying grid for the Mexican Grand Prix, and Josh Chiro will start from where he needs from pole position, beating out Fernando Alonso by 1/10 of a second. Jean-Eric Vergne starts from P3 as the lead of the Ferraris, with Daniel Kvyat maximising his low drag setup to start 4th as the lead Red Bull. Robbie Kubica starts from 5th in the second of the BMW Williams, with Sebastian Vettel lining up on the 3rd row in 6th. Pascal Wehrlein can only manage 7th best in qualifying, and he's joined on row 4 by Max Verstappen in the second of the Red Bulls. Lance Stroll will use his BMW power to good advantage to line up in 9th, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the top 10 for Toyota. Hamilton's teammate Kamui Kobayashi starts from just outside the top 10 from 11th, and he's joined on row 6 by Nico Hülkenberg in the lead Renault. Ryu Hayato will maximise his low drag setup to start from P13, beating out Carlos Sainz by 1/1000th of a second, with the Spaniard having to settle for 14th. Daniel Ricciardo starts from 15th, with Pierre Gasly just scraping through into Q2, but couldn't progress any further than 16th. Mick Schumacher starts from 17th in the second of the Hasses, joined on row 9 by Carmen Jorda in the second of the McLaren Hondas. Both Sauber drivers will set the exact same lap time, but as Thomas Saron set his 30 seconds earlier in the session, the Frenchman starts from 19th with Giovinazzi rounding off the grid. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 18 for season 4, the Mexican Grand Prix. If you did miss the race last time out at USA, definitely do go and check that race out. Some major championship drama happening in that race, and that race could decide what happens in the championship outcome. Now looking to Jean-Eric Vergne, didn't have the best race last time out, an engine failure from the effective lead of the race, but net was somewhere around 3rd or 4th, but still. Surely Jean-Eric Vergne's got to be running out of engine parts now, so can he make the parts he's got last for the rest of the season? How about Sebastian Vettel starting not ideally where he wanted, but Vettel's car just seems to be completely bulletproof so far in the season, so Vettel could be on for another strong result here if his car lasts. Now looking at us starting from where we need to be, starting from pole position, and this could be the most crucial pole position of our Formula 1 career to date, beating out narrowly Fernando Alonso by only 1/10 of a second, so that Mercedes AMG has got pace in a straight line, at least with Fernando Alonso, Wehrlein not faring so well in qualifying, starting down in 7th. Then again, you can never count out the two Ferraris with their excellent chassis and aerodynamics. Of course, with the thin array up here in Mexico, the Red Bulls of Kvyat and Verstappen could be a threat. We know how good their aerodynamics and chassis are, so the Red Bulls really are the underdog in this race, and possibly along with the Toyotas and Lance Stroll as well. Now coming to the 5 red lights for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix. Lights out, and away we go. Can we get a good start from our pole position slots? Like we've got a previous start alongside Fernando Alonso. Alonso, he's got actually a mega start. We've got Bogdan off the start once again. Not got ideally the best start that we need. Looks like Fernando Alonso is going to lead the charge now. Down into turn 1, going 3 wide further behind one of the Red Bulls. And the two Williams going down into turn 1. Going to be 3 wide behind Fernando Alonso. Keep it around the outside. Robbie Kubica going to be 3 wide with our teammate. And Fernando Alonso beside. Now keep it up the inside of Robbie Kubica. Fernando Alonso going to be 3 wide now through the chicane on the exit. We get forced off the track by Robbie Kubica. Now going to be a drag race now down into turn 3. You're still going to be 3 wide. Alonso who's just lost his momentum after slotting behind us. Now going side by side now with Robbie Kubica. Alonso looks making 3 away, just gets squeezed out there by Robbie Kubica. Now trying to hold it up the inside. Our teammate, we just get squeezed out there. Now going side by side now with the 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso, trying to hold it around the outside of the curb, getting forced off the track once again. Now trying to hold it around the outside of Fernando Alonso. Alonso gets a bit squirmy there on power. And we get back up now into P2. Alonso has to defend there from Jean-Eric Vergne. You've got a side by side action further behind between one of the Ferraris and Pascal Wehrlein, and Wehrlein just has to slot in behind Sebastian Vettel, so very manic start to the race. We've still got the Red Bull of Daniel Kvyat right in the middle of this queue of cars. And finally, somehow out of all of this, we've ended up with a Williams 1-2 coming around the stadium sector now. For the first time, unfortunately for the Mexican crowd, no home driver to cheer on for this season, so I imagine they'll just be cheering on their second favourite driver, whoever that may be, out of the field. Now coming around the final corner, you've got Fernando Alonso looking very racy up behind us now. Of course, no DRS yet, that won't be activated until the start of the next lap, so just going to be pure slipstream now, pure engine power. We know the BMW engine in the back of our Williams is mighty quick, but with the low drag of that Mercedes and now with slipstream, Alonso's going to pull to our inside now. It's going to be side by side now, coming down into turn 1. Can Alonso make the move up the inside? He's going to have to be an almighty dive if he can. He's still high running outside of the two-time world champion. We just slot back in front of the Mercedes now. Alonso gets a pretty decent run though through that corner, so he's still within the bite of slipstream. Still might be coming back at us, and then we got Jean-Luc Vergne in that Ferrari behind us, so we'll be getting a double slipstream from behind Fernando Alonso in 4th. You can see we're already pulling away from Daniel Kvyat in 5th, and now we go purple through the first sector, so pretty much proving how good our pace is, despite everyone going close to the first sector. And we get very close to the back there of Robert Kubica's gearbox, almost hitting to the back of our teammate, of course. Kubica shouldn't really be holding us up, so imagining that the team might be onto him very quickly. For us to go away, we get a horrible step of oversteer though. Thankfully, just keep it out of the barriers. That's just proving how thin the area is here, how much the dirty air affects us. We're not getting any downforce on the front wing of the car, just sliding our way through the S sector, and very lucky there not to slam the car into the wall. But we do go purple still through the second sector, so despite having a bit of a drama through the S section, still not laying off the power, still not giving any time up to Robert Kubica or to Fernando Alonso behind us. And now coming around the final corner now for the second time in the race. Don't get the best run out of the final corner, so just not being able to put the power down as we like, just in the dirty air of Ricky Kubica in front. And now Fernando once again already back up behind us, now gaining enough position. Now Alonso once again pulls to our inside. Now we're going aggressive, forcing Alonso over to the inside. Now we move back in front, now make our one defensive move, and Alonso darting out the solution, trying to find a way around our outside now. Alonso going to have to go deep into the breakers and he wants to make the move around the outside. We just managed to outbrake the double world champion and keep in front of the Spaniard for a bit longer. But now coming up now down the second DRS straight, now Alonso will have a second bite of slipstream. Of course, no DRS yet because the detection point was back on the previous lap. Once again, this is all just going to be pure slipstream now. Coming down into turn 3, Alonso going to try and dive up the inside. No, it's not quite close enough there to make a move up our inside. It looks like Robert Kubica really starting to hold us up now at this point, because with the dirty air that we're getting off the back of him, if only just using his straight line speed and his mega run, he gets out the final corner to keep in front of us. Now coming up through the S section, can we try and get it all nice and clean through the S section this time? Take a nice line there to the inside, just keeping 2 wheels on the track, so trying to minimise corner apex there, just trying to minimise the amount of track that we can, try and gain any time we can. And this time keeping it much more planted through the S section. Now gaining our stitching, Robert Kubica not getting the better run. Now going to look for the inside of Robert Kubica, we're just not quite close enough to have to back out of that at the final moment to not crash into the back of our teammates. And now coming through the stadium sector, just going to sit behind Robert Kubica through here, try and get a good run through the S's, and now coming around the final right-hander once again, just try and get a good run out of here, try and put the power down. Once again, Robert Kubica just romps away out the final corner. We just can't put the power down out the final corner. And we've got Fernando Alonso in that Mercedes all over us once again now. Notice Alonso does have DRS. Now getting in the DRS is Alonso going to try and make a move on us, and we've once again just following in the slipstream Robert Kubica. Kubica also has DRS on the back of him, so now we're going to go inside outside now of Robert Kubica. Robert Kubica gives us the outside line, gives us the racing line, breaks early, and now we make the way around the outside Robert Kubica. Now Kubica comes back, compromises the line, that's going to slow him down even more. But it looks like Robert Kubica, they're playing the team game. Looks like I think Williams may have got on the radio there to our teammate Kubica to turn to let us through to try and hold up now Fernando Alonso and the 2 Ferraris behind. And now coming down into turn 3, Robert Kubica does keep in front of Fernando Alonso, so looks like Kubica now really is playing the team game now. We can see we've already pulled about half a second gap over our teammate, because Kubica really is just driving. He's driving slow but fast enough so he doesn't get the black flag, so he's tactically driving slowly. Now cutting a bit further on, Alonso now has DRS once again off the back of our teammate Robert Kubica. Kubica's got a bit of a gap to Alonso, but Alonso just closing the gap immediately, because I don't think Kubica might have DRS at the back of us. Now Alonso goes to the inside now of Robert Kubica, coming down now into turn 1. Kubica tries to go aggressive to the inside line. Alonso has to defend there to the inside line. It's like Robert Kubica now lost the place to Fernando Alonso. Now Alonso surely has to turn his attentions to trying to attack us, whilst Kubica turns his attentions to defending from the 2 Ferraris, because Alonso's not in the championship battle, so I'm not too bothered if he comes to attack us. But the car's a lot that Kubica now needs to hold up, or the 2 red cars right behind him, and coming into turn 3, Kubica does enough to keep him in front of Jean-Luc Vergne for the time being, but we've got Sebastian Vettel then right up behind. Now cutting a bit further on, now looking at a battle further back. Looks like we've got one of the Hasses now coming up under pressure now from one of the Renaults behind, so the Renault's finding some good pace in the track, and a bit of a lock up there from the Haas. We're coming now through the S section, through the start now of the second sector. It's like Alonso just keeping in front there of the Haas. And now the Renault just looks like he has got some good pace in this race, so it looks like a Hulkenberg. They've actually got one of the McLaren Hondas right up behind, so you know that the McLarens are running low drag to try and mix it with the Renaults and Toro Rossos in the race, and that looks to be exactly what Harriento is doing at the minute. Now coming up through the S section, you know that the Haas doesn't have the best aero and chassis, and the Renault probably just has more on the aero side than the Haas. Now the Haas have had to go defensive to the inside line. It's like, how come I going to go right around the outside of Stroll in the S section? Going to be side by side now coming into the stadium sector. Stroll going to try and hold it around the outside of the Hulkenberg, which then tend to the inside for the next corner. And then for the inside around the final corner, the Hulkenberg trying to hold it around the outside of the Haas. Is trying to hold it around the outside and make the mistake around the outside. He couldn't just come around and go, the Hulkenberg makes a mistake around the outside. I mean, the Haas is coming to the pits, but still, I think Hulkenberg would have made that move stick around the outside. And now we've got Rio Haryanto in the McLaren Honda now. It's going to get monstered now by the Toro Rossos in a straight line. Renault Power v Honda Power. They're coming in a straight line. The Toro Rosso looks to make it 3 right now with both the Toro Rossos and Rio Haryanto down the tail. Going to be last of the late breakers here. You've got Sainz up the inside. Sainz with a lock-up just before his contact. Well, eventually wheel-to-wheel contact there with teammate Pierre Gasly. Now these two going side by side. Now Gasly around the outside on the racing line and try and put the power down now to defend. Try and keep in front of his teammate Carlos Sainz. This isn't the first time these two have gone wheel-to-wheel this season. Now Sainz trying to hold it around the outside. Almost getting squeezed onto the grass now by Pierre Gasly. Now Gasly trying to hold it around the inside line, which should then tempt the outside from that's going to say it's advantage Sainz now through his next corner. Keeping it side by side still. Gasly going to try and hold it around the outside now through his next corner, but Sainz with the inside line, and Gasly still keeps the nosing around the outside, but he's not going to get the run on the curbing. And now coming up into the section, Gasly there has to admit defeat, but a great battle there between the two Toro Rosso drivers. You know how fierce the Toro Rosso drivers have to fight to try and get somewhere close to a Red Bull seat in the near future. Now moving all the way onto lap 9, unfortunately nothing's much happened for us. We're slightly pulled away from Alonso and Vergne in front, but now we will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap to make our first stop of the race, and we're going on to another set of the ultra soft tyres. Actually no, we're going to stay out for another lap. Actually Fernando Alonso is going to stay in for another come in now, so Alonso going for the undercut. The team did call us in, but staying out for another lap. Let's try and go for the overcut, so I don't feel that we've got the gap over the cars behind in the midfield cars like the Toyotas, the Renaults. I think we've come out in too much traffic if we pitted on this lap, but it looks like Mercedes have seen something that we haven't, because now Alonso coming, he's gone to a set of the super soft tyres, and they've got one of the Red Bulls in behind, also going onto a set of the super soft tyres. Can't quite see which of the Red Bulls that is, but either way they're going for the undercut now on the Ferraris and myself. And I can see now if they come out in any traffic or whereabouts they rejoin, if they get any clean air, because the undercut around here can be pretty powerful. You do one lap on fresh tyres. It looks like Daniel Kvyat's going to come in battle now with one of the other cars on the track. It's actually one of the McLaren Hondas, so it's actually proving my point. Just coming out amongst all the traffic, and now that's surely not in the Red Bull game plan to be stuck behind the McLaren of Carmen Jordan. Now cutting back into us now, coming up through the S section. Just trying to keep it on track, not having any dramas like we did in lap 2, because since we're in the lead of the race, should be having a jump. You get a bit of power slide there, so still not finding the outright grip. Just haven't got enough rear downforce on the car that I would like. And now we will be pitting at the end of this lap now, confirming that to the engineer. So, you know, with the Red Bull stuck behind the McLaren of Carmen Jordan, that takes one of the cars out of the equation for undercutting us. Now it just depends, can Alonso get enough of an undercut with one lap now to try and get in front of us? But I didn't see if Alonso come out in any traffic either. Now coming into the pits, just breaking down for the marker. Don't want to get a speeding penalty, especially at this point in the season, because one speeding penalty, one mistake, and that could ruin our championship charge. Now coming into our pit box now, should be going into another set of the ultra soft tyres. It was like got one of the Ferraris of Jean-Eric Vergne also coming in behind us, so like another car came in just behind us. So I think that might be Pascal Wehrlein. Now looking at the Ferrari now, what tyres has the Ferrari gone on to? The Ferrari there on a set of the ultra soft tyres, but also me and Vergne. Looks like we've got the same idea now, going for the two stops, so we're just doing the alternate strategy to Fernando Alonso. And I've got one of the Toyotas coming down the pit straight now in front of us, and that Toyota is going to come out in front of us, but they've got a bit of a gap in front of us. So it just depends how much we can push on this lap. Now we've got Fernando Alonso. Alonso's still out there behind us, so Alonso hasn't made the undercut work. It looks like we've actually made the overcut work on the Spaniard, so we look to be further in front now than we were before he made his stop. So Alonso must have got stuck in some traffic. Now we're gaining in the slow sheet now on the back of the Toyota, now coming down into the second sector now, all over the back now of the Toyota, going to the inside line now, trying to make a move up the inside line, so force the Toyota off the track. The Toyota doesn't get the best run out that corner, and crucially we get in front of the Toyota before they can hold us up. So now we've got the lead right now of Sebastian Vettel. He's yet to make a stop, so of course, because Vergne was the lead driver, he gets first call on what he wants to do. So now it's like, can Ferrari make a double overcut work to try and keep Sebastian Vettel in front? I'm sure that Ferrari were hoping that the Toyota could hold us up a bit more than it already did. Now coming into the pits now, what tyres is this Ferrari going on to? You see now, is he going to save Ultras? And it is in the save Ultras. Actually, that's Jean-Eric Vergne, so Vergne stayed out for another lap. So Ferrari brought Sebastian Vettel in before Jean-Eric Vergne, but imagine Vergne did get first call on what he wanted to do. So Vergne wanted to try an overcut strategy, so let's see if that works out for the Frenchman. Coming up back out now onto the track. Just seen a flash of light, so imagine that was Arca. Now come back out now. There goes Fernando Alonso in the Mercedes. Looks like his status quo has been resumed. And the question is, where is Sebastian Vettel now? Got the Mercedes of Fernando Alonso making a move on Kamui Kobayashi coming down now into turn 1, so Kobayashi can try and make it move back up the inside. I mean, it's a valiant effort there from the Japanese driver, but it's not enough to make anything out of it. And now the Toyota surely has to turn his attention now to defending from Jean-Eric Vergne in the Ferrari. Can't even see Sebastian Vettel in the steady camera shot, so it looks like Vettel's undercut really hasn't worked. And they're coming down into turn 3, Kobayashi is just going to keep in front of Jean-Eric Vergne with a bit of a lock up there, so that's not going to do his tyres any favours, and that's not going to do Jean-Eric Vergne any favours either, being stuck behind the Toyota. Now coming up through the S section now, coming up to the S section, there's surely been nowhere here that Vergne can make an overtake, so he's going to have to be patient here and wait behind Kamui Kobayashi. Imagine this can be frustrating Jean-Eric Vergne so much. I imagine his face might be red, or if not redder, that is Ferrari car right now being stuck behind the Toyota. I mean, he's overconstructed. You would imagine he wants to try and jump, try and come out in front of the Toyota, but now checking move now, getting his issue now. And so now Kobayashi goes defensive to the inside line, now coming into final corner, a bit of contact. Vergne hits into the back of Kamui Kobayashi, technically right round. That's a great move there from Jean-Eric Vergne, but now he's got front wing damage. He's locked off a bit of his front wing, unless that was the end plates. But now you can see from the right side there, Jean-Eric Vergne's front wing, he's lost about 2-3 of his end plates. Surely that's going to affect Jean-Eric Vergne now for the end of the race, because you know how thin the air is up here in Mexico, about 2,000 metres above sea level, and the aerodynamics is king around here, of course with the low drag setup. So Vergne will now have more straight line speed. What he does have to see now if that front wing damage does affect the championship leader. And they're coming up now into turn 1, 2, of course through the slow speed corners. It's not going to have that much of an effect, because the damage is on the right side of the car. It's going to affect Jean-Eric Vergne through left-hand corners, so through the S section you have to see now how much the damage affects the championship leader, if indeed it does affect Jean-Eric Vergne. You know, because despite the aero regulations for this season, a front wing damage isn't all that costly. And looks like Jean-Eric Vergne still keeping some decent pace, of course, through the low speed corners. Like I said, it's not going to have any effect, and through this corner as well, since it's a right hander, it's not going to have any effect either. But now coming up to the S section, this is going to be where you see Jean-Eric Vergne gets affected by the damage. Now coming through the action, it looks like Jean-Eric Vergne is keeping pretty much decent speed, so it's not going dramatically slowly. I don't actually think that's any different, so it might be a mile an hour or two slower, but I don't think the damage is actually affecting Jean-Eric Vergne all too much. You can see the gap he's already pulled over the Toyota of Kamui Kobayashi. I don't know if Kobayashi's got any rear diffuser damage from that contact. And then we have the Mercedes Pascal Vergne, and they've got Sebastian Vettel trying to go around the outside now of one of the Toros into the stadium sector. Now we've got Sebastian Vettel proving how you overtake a car around the outside in the stadium sector. And they're cutting a bit further on, looking about to now got the two Renaults running in close proximity. Got Daniel Ricciardo looking a lot racier than he has in previous races, and now got one of the Red Bulls right up behind him there. Of course, this is going to be personal between Renault and between Red Bull. Now got Daniel Ricciardo getting in the issue now on his teammate Nico Hulkenberg. Nico pulls to the inside now of the German, coming down now to turn 1. Can Hulkenberg try and hold it around the outside of his teammate, coming down to turn 1. He's side by side between these two. There's a huge lock up there from Nico Hulkenberg. Not doing any favours. Now he's going to have to defend now from one of the Red Bulls, and slides his way through the inside. So terrible run there for Nico Hulkenberg. Gets a pull run there out of turn 2 as well. There's coming under attack now from one of the Toyotas. Now it's going to be a drag race now down into turn 3, and Hulkenberg loses 3 positions there in about 10 seconds, so a nightmare lap for the German. And now to see, now it's Hulkenberg really has to try and just been flustered trying to regain his composure now. Now it's Daniel Ricciardo flying the flag for Renault. I don't know at this point if they're actually in the points, but I'm moving all the way on to lap 21. This really is just nothing happening. Just I think for the first time ever, we're actually dominating a Grand Prix out in front. I mean, we've got the car to do it. Now we're coming to the pits now at the end of this lap to go into a set of super soft tyres to take us to the end of the race. And Vergne's still in P3, so the damage isn't affecting him all that much, really, if he's still keeping it in P3. But the question is he actually keeping time with Fernando Alonso, or is he losing time to the Spaniard? And now we're coming onto a final set of tyres now, going onto a set of the super soft tyres now. And these tyres will take us to the end of the race. And now to see, because Fernando Alonso on the set of the super soft now, so Alonso will be going longer, so now we can try and get an undercut on the Spaniard, try and build our lead even further back to the two-time world champion. Now come back on track now, so they've got one of the Hasses in front of us, because since the Haas is the BMW B team, surely the Haas isn't going to hold us up. Now coming down now into turn 1, so they've got no other cars around us, so if we can just clear this Haas really quickly, then we should be alright. But as you can see, Vergne's still the car in front of us, so this Haas is actually a lap down. So nightmare race for whichever Haas this is. Now gaining in slitching now. They're giving us a nice toe slitching there. Now pulled to the inside line. Going into braking now for turn 3. And just make the move stay there in front. And didn't quite see which of the Hasses that is. I think that might be a Mick Schumacher actually. So Schumacher's nightmare weekend just continues. I mean, only qualifying down in 17th for the race. So Schumacher really not finding the pace that he needs. So it's like the Haas just really isn't working here in the lower air conditions. Now looking at one of the Ferraris now coming into the pit. I think this might be Jean-Eric Vergne. Didn't quite see what number it is. Indeed it is Jean-Eric Vergne. So Vergne coming in now a lap later, coming in for a set of the super soft tyres. It was like one of the cars in front of me as well. I didn't quite see which car that was in front, so I think that might be Alonso actually. So it's Alonso coming for another set of the super soft tyres. So Alonso mustn't have had another set of ultra soft tyres left to use in this race, and they'll come back out onto the track now. Has Johnny Van made an undercut work on us coming out now into tow? I haven't seen us anywhere. There's like another flash of red, so Sebastian Vettel's actually in front. Oh, Johnny Van. Is this Sebastian Vettel in front? Sebastian Vettel, yeah, Vettel's jumped. Johnny Van, so at some point, Sebastian Vettel was somehow putting a blistering hour lap or end lap, and he just jumped his teammate, and that's going to fuel the conspiracy theories even more now. And now Sebastian Vettel is now unleashed to try and attack Fernando Alonso to try and take P2. Now moving all the way on to lap 26, so a few laps further on, we're now catching up to one of the other back markers now to put them a lap down. Actually coming out to look like one of the Saubers, and the Saubers, I mean, they got a cut of paint, so of course the Sauber is a low drag anyway, so they'll have some decent pace in a straight line, but through the corners, with having to run a low drag setup, I think that's where they're losing all the time. And now we have the DRS now switching out on the back of this Sauber now. Actually, just see how much good pace that Sauber has in a straight line with that Cosworth power unit. We're just not, we've got DRS line, we're just not catching the Sauber, so it's a mega pace from the Sauber in a straight line, it just hasn't got the aero to go with it. And I come down to tail one, thankfully the Sauber backs out and lets us go through now. Yellow flags actually, so it's a good job they did make that move before the yellow flags. It's like someone may possibly spun up in front. Now coming around the final corner, there's a car going massively slow on the racing line. It's like one of the Hasses again, so which of the Hasses is this? I didn't quite say which of the Hasses this is, but it looks like a Hass going really slowly. And just from behind them, the city got the DRS wide open, so they haven't got probably DRS. It's a puncture. It's Mick Schumacher with, oh dear, that front left tyre does not look healthy whatsoever. And Schumacher is trying to trundle back around, so Schumacher's nightmare race just gets even worse for the German. And ever since his victory back at Belgium, his season's just gone downhill, and you see he's crawling his way back around to the pits. I mean, fair play to Mick Schumacher, not wanting to give in, got the fighting spirit in him. And I got the Sauber we just lapped, or the other one now coming up behind to try and make a move back past. So that's for position, I think. So that Sauber is now in front of Mick Schumacher for position. And there goes the Mercedes now of Fernando Alonso. So Alonso managed to get past Schumacher at a crucial point, being held up through the S section. Question is, where is the Ferrari now behind? So Schumacher there pulls off the track, lets the Ferrari Sebastian Vettel go through. Then he gets a bit stuck on the track. I don't really know what Schumacher's doing here. I mean, at this point, he's this far behind. He might as well just pull over to retire at this point. That's how far down he was anyway. Now goes the other Ferrari of Johnny Van. Actually got Pascal Wehrlein now right behind him. So Wehrlein looking very race now. Wehrlein is just woken up now in this race. Now Mick Schumacher gets around the corner, smacks into the wall. And that pretty much just sums up Schumacher's race, really. And now surely, he's lopped off his front wing. Surely he might have actually done some damage to the suspension, maybe a bit of damage to the steering column without whacking to the wall. So surely he's come to the pits. I mean, fair play, he's got back to the pit. So, but surely Haas might as well just retire Schumacher in the pit lane at this point now. I mean, he's pretty much not going to be far off a lap and a half, 2 laps down. Now there goes one of the rebels now around his outside. And Schumacher's a lap down now about to most of the top 8, top 10. So Schumacher's a lap down now to most people in the top 10. And he's no way he's going to catch back up now to the Saubers. So surely he's coming to the pits now. Now have to see what Haas do. Are Haas going to retire the young German? Now he's coming to his pit box now. They're going to change his tyres. I mean, that's just protocol, changing the tyres. And give him a new front wing as well. So I mean, this is all just protocol, what they're trained to do. So they're going to put a new front wing on, but are they going to retire him now? Actually, no, they give him the traffic light. They give him the green light. They're going to send Mick Schumacher back out. So fair play to Haas and to Mick Schumacher not giving up. Imagine Schumacher wants to finish his race since it's his first time here at Mexico. Just try and gather all the data that he can about this track, and for the team for when they come back next season. And they come back on track now. Schumacher's in an absolute no-man's land of his own. I imagine that Schumacher, well, I imagine he's in last. But now cutting a bit further on, we're now taking a look at the running order. Now we're in the lead of the Grand Prix, and now we've got Fernando Alonso in second place, trying to come up now behind one of the McLaren Hondas. And see, Alonso is quite some way behind us actually. It's about maybe 15-ish seconds behind us. Let's go behind the McLaren. Of course, we know. Carmen Jordan isn't the biggest fan of getting lapped, but in a straight line, even if she did put up a fight, this is AMG power versus Honda power, and surely there's going to be nothing that Jordan can do in a straight line here. Now Jordan pulls off to the other side line, and I don't even think she let off. I think this is just naturally how much faster than the Mercedes is than the McLaren Honda. And now we've got Sebastian Vettel just in the no-man's land of his own in P3, so Alonso turning the wick in his final stint, pulling away from Sebastian Vettel, and then we've got Pascal Wehrlein now up into 4th, so Wehrlein really has woken up in his final stint to the race. And you've got Johnny Van all the way down in P5, so that front wing damage really does look to be affecting Johnny Van. Just losing so much time now. Then we have the lead of the Rebels, which I think is Max Verstappen. I couldn't quite see which of the Rebels that was. But either way, they might actually possibly catch Johnny Van at this point. Then we have our teammate Robert Kubica is now down in 6th, 7th. So from the lead of the Grand Prix to down to 7th. So not really, this race isn't working out for Kubica. Then we have the second of the Rebels, and then we have the lead of the Toyotas, which I can't quite see which one this is because the helmets of Kobayashi and Lewis Hamilton look so similar, but I think Hamilton might be as the lead Toyota, followed then by Kamui Kobayashi, and then the lead of the Toro Rosso. So pretty much a Noah's Ark theme here, 2 Renaults, 2 Toyotas, now they've got the 2 Toro Rossos as well, just on the end of the points. And then we have the lead of the Renaults, which I think is still Daniel Ricciardo. Can't quite see from this camera and going, indeed it is Daniel Ricciardo still as the lead of Renault, so Ricciardo has found some good pace in this race. And then behind him we have his teammate Nick Hulkenberg, so continuing the Noah's Ark theme, we've got the 2 Renaults, and then we have the lead of the McLaren Hondas of Rio Haryanto, and Haryanto imagine going to be fighting for that point position, and now then we have his teammate Carmen Jordi behind us, so the Noah's Ark theme still continuing here. Then we have the 2 Saubers now running in formation. And now, of course, we wish the Saubers in front. Can't see in the second. I think Thomas Arron is the Sauber in front at this point. Then he's got Giovinazzi right up behind him now, coming around the final corner. Indeed, it is Giovinazzi. He has the Sauber behind him now. Giovinazzi will have the slipstream and DRS now, trying to make a move on his teammate. I mean, these two sit at the exact same time in qualifying, so there's absolutely nothing between them, it seems. Now Giovinazzi getting in slipstream now pulls to the inside now of Thomas Arron, coming down now, and someone going to go for an almighty dive on the inside, though. Wolves of Steel there from Giovinazzi, keeping it so close but not making contact with Thomas Arron, and now the Italian moves in front of the Frenchman. And now looking further back now, we've got Mick Schumacher now. Is this actually no? This is Lawrence Stroll. So Stroll's so far back now, and then we have the other half of Mick Schumacher. Now his day's about to get even worse now, because we're coming up behind Mick Schumacher once again to put him 2 laps down now. Going on the end of lap 35. We've only got 1 more lap left to go now. Now coming around the final corner now for the penultimate time. Schumacher still gets a pretty decent run at the final corner, so... And now Kamui Kobayashi's out of the Grand Prix, so... Calamity's there for Kobayashi, meaning he'll still be classified, but that makes no difference, because he's not going to score any points, since he didn't actually cross the finish line to start the final lap of the race. Now gaining in such with DRS on the back of Mick Schumacher. Now Schumacher thinks I'm laying Mr. on the inside, but no, got yellow flags up in front, so we can't overtake. Anyway, so it's like we just passed the Toyota of Kobayashi's retiring there on the pit straight, I would assume. Now we got a second bite of DRS now on the back of Mick Schumacher. Now coming up now into the second sector of the lap now to turn 3, and Schumacher leaving a space on the outside line. He's making us fight for this, so imagine Schumacher trying to prove a point that he's in the beating, but he wants to fight. Pretty much remember back to the 2016 season, last season, which with Lawrence Stroll in the manner really just putting up a fight to us. Now coming on now through the S section now for the final time. We just don't need any. We can afford to lift off. We don't need any dramas through here. Anything like back on lap 2. Now coming through the S section now, coming into the final S. No dramas, thankfully, through the S section. Now we've only got 1 more sector to go. Unless something goes wrong for the Haas behind it, we get pointed out, then surely we should have this race victory now in the bag. We're miles in front of Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel in third. Now the confetti are going off. The stadium alive with the colours of Mexico. And now coming around the final corner now for the final time is 17 seconds ahead of Fernando Alonso. Now coming up now to the finish line, you're going to weave up to the finish line. We take yet another crucial victory at this point in the season. And for the first time in our career, we've actually taken a dominant victory, led from pretty much start to finish. And now you can see the Williams boss is looking very happy. The BMW guys very happy with their work, putting their new turbo upgrades to good effect to take another victory. Another victory is exactly when we need it as well. You know, you can see see the stadium alive with the colours of Mexico. See the red there and the white of the confetti just has the green a bit further to the right. And now this victory is now really thrown us right back now into title contention, of course, with Sebastian Vettel on the podium as well. Taking a look at the race results, and we would take victory 10 seconds clear, Fernando Alonso in second, Sebastian Vettel running off the podium for Ferrari in third. Pascal Wehrlein comes home in fourth, with Jean-Eric Vergne in fifth, 13 seconds behind the German, with Max Verstappen finishing as the lead Red Bull in sixth. Ricky Kubica comes home in seventh in the second of the Williams, so it just really wasn't Kubica's race, but finishing 40 seconds behind us in the end. Danica Vieira finishes in 8th in the second of the Red Bulls, with Hamilton in 9th as the only Toyota. Carlos Sainz in 10th, with Pierre Gasly in 11th, and Daniel Ricciardo rounding off the points from Renault in 12th. Haryanto would just miss out on points in 13th, but he could take some solace in beating the Renault of Nico Hulkenberg. He finishes in 14th. Carmen Jordi finishes in 15th, 1 lap down. Giovinazzi beating Laurent to the finish to come in 16th, with Laurent 17th. Lawrence Stroll in 18th, Kamui Kobayashi DNFing, finishing in 19th, and Mick Schumacher finishing in last, 2 laps down. So now then, moving on to the driver standings, And Sebastian Vettel now takes the lead of the championship with 1 race left to go, with Jean-Luc Vergne dropping down to second, 1 point behind, and now we're joint on points with the Frenchman. So whoever wins, whoever finishes ahead out of me, Sebastian Vettel, and Jean-Luc Vergne in the next race wins the Drivers' Championship. Fernando Alonso looks pretty set in 4th now on 165 points, 13 points cleared of his teammate Pascal Wehrlein. Daniel Kvyat's in 6th on 124 points, and again he looks pretty set to beat Max Verstappen this season. Robert Kubica is only 5 points behind Verstappen, so Kubica could try and get 7th place in the drivers in the final race, with Hamilton in 8th on 83 points, Lance Stroll in 9th on 72, Kobayashi 11th on 43, with Hulkenberg running off the top 12 for Renault on 40 points. Mick Schumacher's in 13th with 38 points, with Buemi in 14th on 33, Pierre Gasly 15th on 29, 2 points clear of teammate Carlos Sainz on 27, with Daniel Ricciardo in 17th on 22. Esteban Ocon's in 18th with 18, 15 points clear of Sutil, who's in 19th on 3, joined with Carmen Jorda, then Giovinazzi 21st with 2, Haryanto 22nd with 1, and Thomas Ron running off the point scorers, and 23rd with only Nico Carey on 0 points. Moving on to the constructor standings, and of course Ferrari are the constructors champions, which they won at the previous race, and now Mercedes are only 12 points clear of Williams going into the final race, and if we can have another race like today, try and outscore Mercedes, then there's still 2nd place is easily on the cards. For Williams, Red Bull are secured in 4th on 234 points, but now Toyota finally move ahead of Haas by 6 points on 144 points to Haas's 138, of course, with Haas not scoring any points in this race, so they've really got to pull out something magical to try and get back into 5th at the final race at Brazil. Renault are in 7th, 6 points clear of Toro Rosso, the other team that they supply engines to, with Sauber in 9th on 6 and McLaren in 10th on 4, so McLaren seem to pull something special out of the bag if they want to move ahead of Sauber in the final race of the season. So that's been the Mexican Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the race, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and check out the Wikia page for all the latest news on this season, a look back at previous seasons, and a sneak peek of what's to come up in the future. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.